Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to review Dark Banquet, Blood and the Curious Lives of Blood-Feeding Creatures by Bill Schutt, illustrated by Patricia J. Wynne. And I would like to say from the start that the illustrations in this, while not overly numerous, are excellent. They're very well done, and I quite enjoyed having them in the book. This book not only deals with the creatures that consume blood, but the author also discusses what is blood, how it works, what it, its function in the body, and some of the reasons behind why researchers believe that creatures have evolved to be blood feeding. And this book introduced me to two words, or variations of the same word, sanguivore and sanguivorous, which is blood eating as opposed to like carnivore or carnivorous or herbivore and herbivorous. And sanguivore is an awesome word. So I was quite pleased to encounter those. Now, I got this copy off of Amazon. It's physically a little odd. It's about the same width as your standard shelf hardcover is, but it's taller, and I'm not really sure why it's so much taller. This particular volume came from the Baltimore County Public Library, and it's got the classic, plastic library coating. It was only purchased in 2008 by them, and I just got it recently. It's in like brand new condition. I have no idea why this book was sold off. None whatsoever. It's still got the barcode attached, for like using their inventory system. Don't ask me. It doesn't make any sense, but I spent very little on this book, so I was quite happy. The author has a very pleasant writing style. He really draws you in. I found myself losing track of time while reading this because he really was able to make the story compelling. Even though he's talking about some things which are possibly a little strange and a little upsetting to people. The only part of this I had a really difficult time handling was when they were discussing bloodletting using knives, and that it was a little freaky. And the author is a bat researcher. He studies bats, and that's how he got into the topic, studying vampire bats. He was doing a comparison of the 3 different species of vampire bats, and the fact that one of them is a very strong leaper. So when it takes off, it kind of goes boom, literally launches itself into the air. While the other two are one is more almost always hunting arboreal, so it can just kind of drop out. And he talked about their feeding strategies. For example, the arboreal vampire bats, the ones that hunt birds, have preyed upon chickens in a big way. And they've actually learned to manipulate the chicken's behavior by making themselves look like chicks so they can get themselves right in close to the bird and then bite it on the chest where it would normally lay and rest on chicks to keep them warm, or eggs to keep them warm. And also to land on their back in the same position that a male rooster places itself for mating. So the female chicken will actually stop and stoop and go into the submissive position because she thinks there's a male involved, and it's a vampire bat, which was interesting. It was also intriguing. I didn't actually know how many species of vampire bat there are 3 current species, and there are a number of extinct varieties they talk about. One of which, an extinct variety, was the size of a fox bat. I mean, that's like a body this long with a 5-foot wingspan. That would have been scary. But they fed off of the megafauna of the area just after mammals, just after the dinosaurs. So as those animals disappeared, so did the giant vampire bats. He talks about leeches, ticks, mites, chiggers, all the classic animals. And also discussing chiggers, he talked about the fact that they're only blood feeding during one stage of their life. At a later stage, most often they aren't. While ticks are always blood feeders, and it looks like that ticks may have evolved out of the chigger stage of development. Like the chiggers develop into mites, it may look like that the ticks evolved from that chigger stage. That like some group of chiggers froze at that developmental level, and then ticks evolved from that, which is kind of fascinating. So if you have an interest in blood-feeding animals or just really good science writing, I really recommend this book. It was a pleasure to read. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I'm going to be keeping this one for no other reason than the excellent illustrations in the book. The man loves this topic. He did the research he had to do. He held containers of bed bugs in his hands so he could see them wake up to his body heat, which was kind of freaky, and I could understand why. And the researcher he was talking to was like, yeah, don't drop that container. Because he didn't want bed bugs in his office any more than anybody else does. But definitely, if you like good science writing, this is a book that you're going to want to read.